All right, good afternoon. Good afternoon. Hope everybody is great. You made it through the day to your last class. All right, while we're waiting for folks to come in, a lot of you did not. Last class, we talked about an elevator pitch. We're getting ready to talk about resumes and talking about yourself. And we started off with an elevator pitch. And an elevator pitch is something, if you imagine that you only had from one floor from the first floor to the 12th floor, time to tell somebody who you are and what's most interesting thing about you. And normally that's about 1 minute, but I'm giving you two. So if you haven't done it already, please work on that for the next couple of minutes while we wait on everybody to come to class. But your elevator pitch, you're pitching you. What is so interesting that you have 2 minutes to tell this person, this stranger in the elevator who could possibly be your interviewer, all the interesting things about you. Okay. Leave out the somebody put, well, we're on the elevator. Let me tell you about myself. Don't put that in there. Just say, hi, my name is so and so, and then talk about yourself. You got 2 minutes to say the most interesting things about yourself in pertaining to the job you think you're going for. Make them interested in you. By the time they get off the elevator, they want to know more. But just give the highlights in 2 minutes. Okay. Folks are late. Right, while you work on that, I'm going to work on. Okay. Yes, indeed. All right, so I have to publish the other modules so you can see it. Where did it go? Mm-hmm. Ready. Okay. I guess all those of you who are here are all who are coming. So we're going to go ahead and get started. And so if you refresh your page, I opened up there were two module eights, so I took out one so it wouldn't be confusing. So I've published the second one. So we're going to look at that second one today. So if you go in Canvas and you look for where it says this, it should be the last thing on your page now. It'll say preparing for a job. Unit 8, preparing for a job. And we're going to actually go through the first one, but I'm interested in getting to the second point, which is the resume. So we kind of talked about the job market a little bit already. All right. So we had you looking for one of the reasons you did your spreadsheet was to look at the different careers that you could possibly be interested in. Then I had you go through that list of careers and pick one that stood out to you, so a possible career that you might like. And now we're going to look at, if you took that one, what would you do with it? All right. So I think I had, at some point I had you look and see where, no, we started off with what college you would go to, and because some careers you only can go to certain colleges. So you did one where if you picked that career, one of your activities was to pick the career and then figure out um, what colleges offer training for that career, how long you had to go to college. Was it a 2-year course, a 3-year course? Did you have to get your master's? That sort of thing. And went from there. All right. And I'm looking at some of these links that they have in here. Well, hold on, I'm not getting to that yet. So, because I'm just kind of scrolling through this one, so we're not gonna need a breakout room yet. Apparently, y'all like breakout rooms. That's what y'all did with Miss
Yes, we did do that with Miss. Oh, not with
Calacine.
Miss Callicine, but the teacher we had before Miss Callicine.
Oh, really?
Doing
Yeah, this
this.
is your second teacher. Oh, okay. I didn't know that. All right. Well, give me a break. We're not going to do that just yet. You'll have an opportunity to do that, but you can't do that with every assignment. Okay. All right. So first of all, can everybody get to this? So we are in the unit. Oops, let me go back up here to the top. It says Unit 8, preparing for the job. I'm gonna come back to the home page for a minute to make sure that this is what you can. Okay, I'm gonna view as. Whoops, click too fast. Yeah, too fast. Student. Okay. We'll give you a chance to read in a second. Actually, we're going to do this together. All right, so we're going viewing as a student. We're in the module. So everybody follow me. Click on modules, scroll all the way down to the end. All right, so we've already done all of this. And so now we're on the second one, preparing for a job. All right, and I'm at the job market, and then we're going to get to the resume. That is my end game, to get to the resume. So what I'm saying is you can go back and read this if you want to, but we have done pretty much all of this prep work already. So we've looked at the job market, we've examined some careers, we tried to get you to narrow your focus on something that you might be interested in. We talked about networking, meaning that you need to meet somebody that is interested in what you're interested in and get to know them. Okay. All right. So that's the first one. So now we're skipping that one. And we're going to, so today's activity is the resume. Is everybody with me? Anybody lost? Anybody not find it in their module? I also put a link for this in the assignment. So if for some reason you couldn't get to this, I put a link for it in the assignment as well. But this is the link will take you here. All right. So we are going, so the last class we looked at a video that said what a resume is, and it's just something that is going to talk about you. It highlights all of your educational background. It highlights the jobs that you've had, and it also will highlight your personal interests, because sometimes a lot of jobs like to know, what do you do with your spare time? Okay, so when you're applying for a job, they always, my daughter just left to go for an interview and they have her resume. And we're going to talk about cover letters next, but today we're just going to focus on just a simple resume. All right, so we're going to create something that, again, the goal is to create your own resume and we're not, like I said, not cover letter. Cover letter is the next unit, and something that will get the employer looking at you. A lot of times you send the resume off ahead of time so that based on the resume that they've received, then they reach out to you for an interview. But you just send all your resume out to everybody who you're interested in, and then the one that's interested in you will call you based on what they have read. All right. So again, we watched the video the other day, and it said that one of the reasons it's hard for new college graduates to get an interview without internship is because the employer isn't sure if the new graduate can do the job. They don't have any evidence. So what your resume is going to do is give them evidence. Okay. One of the things you have to remember when you graduate and you're looking for a job, you think that you're the only one applying for this job, and there's probably 10,000 people applying for that same job. Your area, well, maybe not 10,000, you're in a smaller neighborhood, but there's a lot of people applying for that same job, and you wonder what is taking them so long to answer my resume or my application. It's because they've got to sort out, they have ways of sorting out um, keywords on your resume, or whether they're interested in you or not. So we're going to try to get you to write a resume that pops up as something interesting, which was the other reason why I had you do the elevator pitch, so that you can think about what is interesting about you. Okay. All right. So it also helps to know a few things on a resume. Uh, resume gets read in 10 to 25 seconds, and it is likely to be the thing that gets the job or not. The goal of the resume is to get you an interview, not the job. Okay, once you get an interview, then they will figure out whether they will give you the job. But you're trying to get your foot in the door. All right, you want your resume to show an employer who you are. So these are your keywords here. So you might want to jot this part down. Who you are, what you can do, and why you would be a good match for that particular job. Okay. All right. And this is just some background information that you can read at your own leisure. Right. And then you don't want to do some things, there are things out there that will write the resume for you, and those are good as a template. And then you want to go behind it and tweak it so that your resume doesn't sound like everybody else's resume. That's what they mean by you don't want to sound like a robot. But if you have a computer generated resume, it will typically make you sound like everybody else's resume. Okay. Um, there are some companies that have programming that take the resume and they pick out certain words, and so they know which resumes they're going to read and which ones they're not. Because like I said, there's hundreds of resumes that get submitted. They're not going to read every single one. They're going to read the ones that they're interested in. Okay. All right. So these are some key things that you want to do. You want to use keywords that describe your worth ethic. So what kind of person are you? Are you serious about everything? Are you, um, what is your work ethic? Type in the chat some words that can describe your work ethic. You're serious, you're conscientious, you're focused. Those are some words. They've got committed, hardworking, dedicated. What's some other words that you can talk about your work ethic? If you had to say, I am, how would you finish that sentence? I am what? Everybody start by thinking about that, because that's going to be something that you need to consider writing. I am what? What are you? Passionate. That's a good word. You don't want to tell them you're a procrastinator. They don't want to know that. They want to know that you're going to come in and you're going to do the job. So procrastinating is not a word that you want to put on your resume. Okay. But focused is a good word. because they do want to know that. All right. So these are some tips for writing the resume. You want to start off with an I am statement. You want to make sure that you use the correct font. So you want to pick one. We're not doing script. You want to pick one of these. Most of them are do Arial or new what's the one? New Roman Times or Roman Times. You want to have a standard font, and it needs to be 12, not too small and not too big. All right. Do not use abbreviations. If you want to write out the whole word, look it up. If you can't spell it, look it up. Put your contact information at the top. Contact information means your name, address, and phone number should be at the top of the resume. So that's what you start with. Okay. Use the executive summary section to create a bullet. So there's different sections to the resume, and I don't know why they didn't put it up here, but I'll pull one up to show you formatting in a second. And then format your work history. Now for you all, that's going to be short, but you might have done some work. If you've done some volunteer work, then put that on there. If you actually have a job or had a job, put that on. So again, I'm not expecting your work experience to be very long because you are in middle school and you haven't worked very much, but you do need to have a work section. So if you have done anything after school, done some summer jobs, some volunteer at a nursing home or a hospital or anywhere, that's going to go in your work history section. And it says it's not going to be longer than 1 page. You don't have to, again, no fancy formatting, and you need to upload it to the file where I tell you to upload it. All right, here's some things that you need to know. Anything that you put, all the information that you put in needs to be in chronological order. So it needs to list your most recent activities. So I don't know if you can see, let me put this on my big screen. Okay, when you scroll over this, well, it did it just a minute ago. There it is. Okay, scroll over these. So you want to list your most recent activities first, and then put dates. So you need, and if you don't have an exact date, say in 19, sorry, 19, that y'all weren't even born then. In 2012, I did this. In 2013, so 2024 should be top, then 23, 22, and go backwards like that. I'm trying to remember how young y'all are. All right, so you need to list your activities chronologically, but starting with the most current thing. Okay, a functional resume. Kind of get this thing to scroll like I did before. It won't do it. All right, I can't get it to do like the last one did. Why won't it do that? Okay, so focus. So the next part, you want to focus on your skills. What have you done? Okay, what are you good at? So you need to have a skills section. So you have an employment section, you have a skills section, and then, so these are different types of resumes. And then you have a combinations where you mix chronological and skills at the same time. Or some jobs want you, if you're going for a particular job, then you only want to tell them the type of things that will interest them. So that's a targeted resume. Okay, and these are some resume tips. And all right, here we go. So this is what you want to do. You are writing a simple resume. You're not making a complicated one. You're just writing a simple resume. It's going to tell a story. It's going to have solid information, and you're going to proofread it to make sure there are no mistakes. Okay. Keep it simple. Tell a story of the story of you. It should be factual, and it should be grammatically correct. Okay. All right. And then we're going to stop there. So I'm going to go here. All right. So again, I just gave you that's the link for what we just read. And then you are going to, okay. All right. Give me 1 second. I'm going to give you something else in that box. I'm going to give you a template. So you be thinking about what you're going to put in it. Work history is anything that you have done. Okay, have you ever had a job? If you've ever volunteered and you did some work for somebody, you might babysitting is a job.
Did we have to be paid for it?
Say what?
Did we have to be paid? Does it? Do
It
we
could be
have to
volunteer.
include?
It could be volunteer. You don't have to have been paid for it. If you got paid for something, that's wonderful. But your work experiences, like I said, any type, if you help clean up somebody's backyard, like I said, you all are young, so you don't have a lot of professional work experience. But if you've done any work at all, you help somebody build a doghouse, you cut the grass, you did the neighborhood, they don't have paper boys and paper girls anymore, but if you went around the neighborhood and distributed newspapers or flyers or something, that's a job. But you might not have gotten paid for it, but that's a job. Again, if you help cut the grass, um, that's a job. That's work history. Y'all are too young to be at McDonald's and stuff, but um, anything that you have done. If you worked at church, you helped build a set at church. That's a job. Okay, that is your work experience. I'm gonna try to get you a template that is not that complicated. Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay, give me 1 second.
Miss Harris, Jada's in the waiting room.
Okay, thank you. My Zoom, every time I try to do something, it wants to get an approval. Y'all have to do that too, authenticate when you get everything, even though I'm already in. Okay, do this a different way. I'm going to take the same assignment folder that you're in. And I'm going to give you a template. And then what I want you to do with this template is to just change it and put your name on it. Okay? Mm, I don't like that. That's the same one. Okay, I'm gonna do it this way. There we go. Okay. Okay, there we go. Just trying to format it properly. And every time you try to format it, it changes style. So I got to outsmart the kid. All right. So if you go back and I'm going to pull up the assignment and I'm going to show you a template. And all I want you to do is use the headings on the side, but I want yours to look like this. So this is one kind of resume. This is not all of the different kinds of resumes, but you want to start by putting your name at the top. So you're going to use this format, okay? And you're going to make this you. So instead of being Jessica, it's going to be you. You're going to have your address and phone number underneath, and then your professional summary. Okay, that's the I am statement that I asked you to think about. Okay, I am focused, and I am looking. This one should be what kind of job you're looking for. But because of who I am, that's what's going to go right there. All right, so your professional summary is that motivating statement I asked you for. All right, then your skills. What are you good at? And then your work history. So then they have titles of, all right, y'all stop playing in the chat. Focus on what you need to do. All right, so work history, put a title. So again, if you volunteered, if you cut the grass, or you babysit, that would be the title. And then you would describe what you did under those, sir. How long did you do it? Have you babysat for 3 years? Or you've been doing that every summer for X number of summers? That's what you would describe here. You've been cutting the grass every summer for X number of years. That's what you would put here. So have a title and then a description of the job. All right, and then your educational background, where you went to school, where you are going to. Yes, it's going to be short because y'all are just in high, but this is a format. Okay, this is going to be brief. This is going to be brief. So again, imagine that you are going for a particular job. So that's the professional summary up here. I am looking for, you could be looking for a summer job this summer. Okay, what kind of summer, if you were looking for a summer job, what would you be looking for? That would be your described in your professional summary. Okay, and then what skills do you have? What work history, what have you done in the past? And then what is your school? So you're in middle school, so what elementary school? If you went to pre-K, all of that should go down there. Okay, and then again, in chronological order. So you're in what middle school you're in now, what elementary school, and if you did pre-K, that would be last. Same thing with the jobs. The job should be in what's the most current job you had, and then years after. Again, like I said, I know y'all are in middle school and it's going to be short, but this is a template. Okay. It should be a page long. It should be formatted just like this. So you need your name. You don't put a date on it, but you do put your name and address and phone number at the top. And then it's followed by, and you don't have to be fancy with initials on the side, just put your name at the top. Your name should be large so that it stands out as to who you are. Okay, format. This is how you should format it. All right, we good? Everybody knows what they're gonna do. Like I said, I know it's gonna be short because y'all haven't been on this planet that long. Mine is very long. I'm old, I'm ancient. And most of it is teaching, but I've taught a lot of places. I taught in the Bahamas. Nia, you're something else. But that's good. That's good. I hope you put that on your resume that you can get the job done quickly and expediently. That's a characteristic of yours that you should let employers know that you are not a procrastinator. You get the job done quick, fast, and in a hurry. All right, I'm gonna stop sharing. I'll let you do that. Again, if you haven't done your elevator pitch, you need to make sure. No, I was serious. I was serious. And that's a good thing. That's a good thing. All right, so if you haven't done your elevator pitch, do that because you could use your elevator pitch as your summary at the top. And I should have said that your elevator pitch should be like you're talking to the person. So not you're not telling me what you might tell them. You're writing exactly what you would say to the person in the elevator. But yeah, I'll okay. Okay. Like I said, some of you have been around. If you have interned with someone, like I said, at your age, you might not have had paying jobs. You might have interned. You might have spent time on somebody else's job, just watching what they do. It's legal, legal. It's got to be legal. Yeah, that'll get you suspended too. Legal, legal. Let's not do anything illegal. We're trying to get a legal job. Alrighty. Use the word flexible if you are flexible. I'm sure you did. Okay. Now that's a thought. If you made, and I'm doing this because Xavier is putting all these ideas out here in the chat. If you are an entrepreneur, that's the word we're looking for, entrepreneur, and you have made some crafts and you sold your, if you had a lemonade stand and you were self-employed, um, you can say that. Okay. Lemonade stand, you made a craft and you sold that. Some if you knit, I mean, when I was little, we used to make those pot holders. And so we made a lot of pot holders and did different design, those lanyard keychains. And you learn how to make those in summer camp. And a lot of the things that they teach you like that, then you just decide that this is a craft that you like and then you want to sell it. So you're an entrepreneur. So think about things like that. You were
Oh,
self-employed,
that
legally, Xavier, legally.
it was legal by U.S. laws, by school law, maybe not, but
Well, that's the law we're going by. Since this is a school assignment, we're going by school laws.
yeah, yeah. Well, this is virtual school. You can't smuggle candy anyways.
Oh, this is true. Okay, imagine you were in regular school. You couldn't do that.
Well, that didn't stop me. I got at least $400 off of that before I moved.
Wow.
So
And in regular school, they get y'all doing that too. A lot of these clubs have you selling those chocolate bars and popcorn and all kinds of things. So that's a job.
I
That's a
I
job.
got people I got people candy they couldn't get anywhere else. No, I knew people, so I got people candy from like
So, so, so,
Japan,
so you,
China.
so you're networking. You know how to network.
Yeah, I guess you can say
So you
that.
can so you can put that down as a skill. You can't put the smuggling part, but you can put down that you have networking skills.
A candy distribution company.
So you have networking skills, you have distribution skills. Let's just take all of that and highlight the good stuff.
I mean, it was very profitable. It was,
I'm sure it was. But you're not going
and
to
I
write that.
mean,
But my point is, you're not going to write that on your resume. But you're going to take that. You can take that experience. I'm not saying you can't, and you're going to make a positive out of it. So you are good at networking, and you are good at distributing. So those are your skills.
yeah.
Make a
I was the only
positive
one
about
of,
that.
one of my businesses that actually ended well. So
That's good.
the other ones went into bankruptcy.
Sorry to hear that. But
One
again,
went to
it,
bankruptcy due to a workers' strike, though. So
oh, that was interesting.
they weren't getting paid enough,
Mm.
and I have enough money to raise their wages.
Oh, so you had people working under you. You had
Yeah,
associates.
yeah,
Uh-huh.
I've had employees for every single one of my companies because they wanted to
See?
share in
So
that
you
money.
also have managerial skills. You see, you keep talking, and I'm pulling all these good things out. You don't want to talk about the bankruptcy, but you want to say you have managerial skills, you have networking skills, you have what was the other one I said?
Distribution.
Distribution. There you go. Write all that down. Write all that down. This is why I said we started off with taking the time to think about who you are, what you've done, things you're interested in. You've had life experiences that are helpful, that can be useful in finding a real job in the real world. And again, if you helped your mother with the groceries and grocery shopping, if you bag groceries, you a grocery bagger. That's a skill. I don't like it that everybody bag my groceries because they don't bag them right. That's a skill.
That means I'm very skilled at creating companies, just not skilled at keeping them.
So you are, there's a word for that. Generating ideas is a word for it. I'll think of it. But that's important too, because a lot of companies want someone who will generate ideas. And folks, you'll see how we're brainstorming. Xavier and I are brainstorming, and y'all were listening, hopefully. That's what you need to do. You need to brainstorm. What have I done? What things have I done that I can put some creative titles on? All right, Nia, I want you to um, take this back and format it the way all right, let me put that up again, folks. Let me say that. I want you to format it the way I've shown you the example. So all you're going to do is imagine that yours looks like the one I gave you. So you want your name at the top, your address at the top, and then because this is a document that you are creating that you're going to possibly give to an employer. So you can write it up and then copy and paste it and put into the folder if it can do that. If it doesn't copy and paste in your format, which is what I had to do, um, I I did a screenshot or a snippet so that it came out in the format that I wanted it to be in. You don't? Well, you need to find out. And I'm not sharing your resume with anybody, so it's okay to write your real address and phone number on there.
Oh, so I can write, so I can write my first company without any, without it getting to any school systems or anything.
Yeah, we're not distributing these, so it should be
Okay, because
all right.
Hillsborough County schools don't need to know what I did.
No. No. All right, this is just a class assignment. I'm not going to post it on a board or anywhere. This is just practice writing a resume. So where was I here? Okay. So let me say this again. What you want to do, I'll post it back up again. What you send me needs to look exactly like what I posted here. Okay? In that it's got your information on it and not, okay? All right, so because this is what a resume page looks like. So you are sending me an actual resume page. It's going to have your name at the top and address. And then you're going to have a heading. Now yours doesn't have to be formatted on the side the way the hers is because there's a special template that does that, but you do have to have a heading that says professional summary and then a paragraph underneath that. You need a next heading that says skills, and then you need your information underneath that. Then your work history as a next heading, and then so you are formatting it just like this, but maybe not just like that, in that she has hers to the side. You don't have to have yours to the side, but you do definitely have to break it down with your name at the top, name and address, professional summary, skills, work history, and education. Okay? Now, this is a resume, not a job application. So it's got to look just like this. And then when you get to high school, you're going to look back and you're going to pull this out and you're going to tweak it. You're going to freshen it up. And when this will be your template that you're creating. And you'll just keep adding stuff to it all the time. And as you go through life, that's what you're going to do. You're going to refresh your resume every time you apply for a new job. You're going to add some things that you've done since the last job. So this is a beginning stage. Remember, it only has to be one page long, but it does have to be formatted. Name at the top, address, professional summary, skills, work history, and education. And your work history should have what your job title is and then a description of what you did under that job. And like I said, your elevator pitch would help you with your skills part. What are you good at? And notice how that's at the top. They want to know that before they want to know all that other stuff. So they want to know what job are you interested in? What are you applying for? What is your career goal? So that would be your professional summary. What job am I trying to seek? What are my job interests? That's your professional summary. What your personal skills are those things that you talked about in your elevator pitch, and then your work history and education. And again, they should be in reverse chronological order. Start with what is first, most current, and then go backwards in history. Same thing with school. What school are you in now? You're in Lighthouse Virtual Academy. And then where were you last year, the year before that, and so on. Or school before that, not year, but your previous schools. Elementary school, preschool. Like I said, when you get to high school, you'll freshen it up. Your education will start with what high school you went to, and then you can say you. It might not be as important to keep on going all the way back, but you would say what high school you're in and what middle school you might have gone to, and that's it. When we do resumes, you kind of keep it simple in that you don't tell them everything. They don't need to know what day you were born. Although some on an application they ask, this is not a job application. They're not going to ask you to put your birth date on here. All right, when you finish that, next time we get together, we're going to look at the next section, which is what is a cover letter. Some places want you to have a cover letter. Not everybody, but a lot of places. So that's what we're doing next. Oh, I have to check. A lot of you came in late, so I'm going to fix my attendance. So hopefully you didn't log off early. All right, folks, you can log off and y'all have a great rest of your afternoon.